Thanks for joining us on Arc Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schnee. Friday, December 10th. Tonight we're taking a look at the firefight that continues in Southern California. A live look for you tonight. Plus, I sat down to speak with Unified Fire Authority Chief Dominic Burchett. For the first time, we're hearing from him about his brother's death while fighting a fire in California back in 2018. Is a conversation years in the making and a conversation you'll only see here. Let's start with the latest information out of Southern California, where at least 11 people are dead and more than 10,000 homes and other buildings have been completely destroyed. Right now, over 150,000 people are under evacuation orders. More than 55 square miles have burned so far. Two of the largest fires, the Palisades and Eaton, are under 10% contained. As fire crews attack wildfires from the sky, officials are warning people not to fly drones. That's after one clipped the wing of a super scooper, grounding it on Thursday. You may remember what those planes look like. We had them here in Utah during our fire season. LA County's fire chief saying the plane should be flying back again on Monday. Victims and first responders in Southern California need your help. Our parent company, Sinclair Broadcast Group, partnering with the Salvation Army for Sinclair Cares, California Wildfires Relief, to provide critical assistance. To get started, scan that QR code you see on your screen or go to sinclaircares.com. Going in depth with Unified Fire Authority Chief Dominic Burchett tonight. Not only did UFA send firefighters to California this week, but Chief Burchett's brother was deployed in California back in 2018. Draper City Fire Battalion Chief Matthew Burchett was killed by a tree strike following a retardant drop from aircraft working the Mendocino complex fires in California on August 13th, 2018. Dominic sat down with me to speak for the first time about this more than 6 years after his brother's passing. Why talk about this now? Why be a little bit more open about what happened to your family?
I think through a lot of healing and through a lot of processing, it's finally time to open up and share. I think especially if the messaging can be well received, I think it's important to finally open up and talk about it.
I mean, if you put yourself back in August of 2018, do you remember what that was like to get that phone call or get that notification that something wasn't right?
Yeah, and I apologize if I get a little emotional, but I was in Idaho fishing on a river, and my brother was supposed to be on that trip with us, but he went on this deployment instead, and it was one of the best fishing days of my life. I remember it specifically, but then something just didn't feel right. And none of us knew what that was until we got the phone call that evening. His wife got a hold of us, and we were in an area that was very remote, Idaho, where there was no cell service. But for some reason, her call came through. So that was a piece of reflection, as well as how did that phone call make it through? Which has been it's always been a kind of a joke for us, because we've gone back to that exact same campsite, and we cannot get a phone call out. We packed up and drove home immediately, just to be near family and start making notifications and phone calls. And I don't think any of us knew what was next. It was trying to figure out what happened and how to feel. I would consider my brother at the time one of the most highly trained wildland firefighters in the state, and accidents happen. Despite mitigating risks and doing everything as safely as we can, accidents do and will happen. So it's a consideration when we come into this line of work, to understand that, and that's a message that I share with my new firefighters now when I go out and talk to them about recruit camp. Is this job is fantastic. It's the best job in the world, and it comes with risks, and some of those I'm living, and I don't want them to come into it blindly and not think about that side of it.
How did you go about the daily job of working in fire after that?
Well, to be honest, I didn't do it very well for a while. We took a couple of weeks off. We took some time with our family, and then I felt like I had to get back to work to be around my people in that setting. And I was there. I wasn't present, but I was there in person. And just being around that group of people at the time, I was in our fire training division, and they were some of my best friends, and that's who I needed to be with, associate with, and let them help me kind of go forward. Being in it at the time, going in the funeral procession, and every overpass was covered with firefighters and people waving and smiling. We couldn't have needed that more. It was so powerful for our family to see that, and I think for every firefighter to see that that's the kind of support that you have when you enter this profession.
Had you been out on an assignment in California as well before?
I have, yeah, and after. I went the following year, despite my parents' wishes. But I went, and I felt like I needed to go. I couldn't let his death keep me from what I love to do and what I signed up to do.
Did you almost not take that assignment?
I did, yeah, because that would have been the easy answer. I don't want to put my family through that again. But I did that with my dad's support. My mom wasn't quite ready. In fact, she just texted me a little bit ago and said, "Please tell me you're not going to California." So she still has that. I'm never going to go out again in her eyes. But yeah, it was hard.
What's it like to sit in your seat and send 8 guys to California, given what you've seen has taken place there and the hazards of not just fire itself, but everything else that's out there right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a risk. We're sending people to an area that they haven't been in, and a fuel type they haven't been in, and fire behavior that they haven't seen, so it is a little more dangerous. We send people that are very highly trained with very good experience that I trust will keep our folks safe. But I have to question that every time, and I think every fire chief does when these come up. It's not just an opportunity to make some extra money and get some experience. It's a risk. And when they're gone, I'm literally sick to my stomach until they come home safe. It's devastating, and I'm honored, and I think I can speak for all the fire chiefs in Utah. We're honored to be able to help in a time like this.
How close were you and your brother?
Well, I've said this before publicly, but there was very few people that would say, "Where's Matt?" or "Where's Dom?" It was always, "Where's Matt and Dom?" We were always together. He was just a couple years older than me. We did the same things. There's a couple pictures behind them of us climbing mountains and skiing, and we just did everything together, and I looked up to him like my mentor. And yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have that relationship with their siblings, but I feel like mine was extra special. My brother, of course, he was a couple years older than me. I was still in high school, and he got a job on the wildland crew just because he liked to be outside. And I had to go to school the next day, and his pager went off at 10 o'clock at night or something, and he got kicked out on a wildland fire on the east bench here. And he was gone for 2 days. And then he came back, and he smelt horrible, and he was dirty and gross, and I was like, man, I want in. That is what I want to do. And partly because he was my idol, and that's what I wanted to do, anything he did. But being outside, being dirty, being able to work hard, that checked all the boxes for me. And so as soon as I graduated high school, I followed in his footsteps. I don't think he ever thought he would be the fire chief, but I know he was going to be the fire chief somewhere. And that was honestly part of my decision when I decided to put in for this, was to help carry on his legacy through being the fire chief, because he would have been the fire chief somewhere.
What would he have said to you if he had the opportunity to be there that day you were sworn in as chief?
I can't believe it. No. Well, he was my biggest cheerleader for sure, and he couldn't have been more proud. Yeah, I think the thing that really made him stand out was, yes, he liked going on calls. Yes, he liked helping the public, but more so, he loved helping other firefighters. He loved developing others around him, and he would find people that needed a push or needed help or needed help identifying a career path, and he was so good at seeing what people were good at and helping foster those qualities to make them the best they could be, so that they could be better at serving the public. He was a really good paramedic. He was a really good captain. He was a really good battalion chief. But all of that was because he was so good with people. And he really, really loved mentoring other people. And I that's where I take credit, because I think he honed his skills in mentoring me my entire life. And he figured out how to push me and figured out how to make me better.
Well, Chief Burchett told me that Matt's wife and son are moving forward and doing well despite the circumstances. Each year around the anniversary, they head back up to Idaho with family and friends. They have a big camp out, they do some fishing, and they try to reflect on the good things. Brothers in service, the two work together on a wildland fire crew, a hotshot crew, and at UFA together for a brief time. And at the time of his passing in 2018, Matthew David Burchett was 42 years old. If you'd like to see my extended interview with Fire Chief Burchett, I'll have that posted online on our KUTV YouTube page. I want to give you an update about our Utah wildland firefighters that are right now in California. They were just assigned to the Palisades fire, and I want to read a letter to you that was shared with me by Unified Fire Authority that was sent from Danielle from West Hollywood. It reads, "Dear firefighters of Utah, on behalf of the people of Los Angeles, I want to extend our deepest gratitude for your tireless efforts in battling the fires around our county. Your bravery, dedication, and selflessness in the face of such challenges are awe-inspiring and deeply appreciated. The people of LA are more grateful than words can ever truly express. Your willingness to leave your own homes and communities to help protect ours speaks to the strength of your character and the spirit of unity you embody. You're not only saving lives and homes, but you've also given us hope and a profound sense of comfort during these difficult times. Thank you for your hard work, your sacrifices, and your unwavering commitment to keeping us safe. You are true heroes, and we will never forget the impact you've made on our lives. With endless, heartfelt gratitude." Again, Danielle from West Hollywood sharing that email with Unified Fire Authority here in Utah. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, we're going back to Southern California, where two large wildfires are among the most destructive in California history. What fire crews are dealing with tonight and what's being done to help residents who've lost it all. The two largest wildfires raging through Los Angeles County, now among the top 5 most destructive in state history. At least 11 are confirmed dead, while over 150,000 people remain under mandatory evacuation orders. A live look for you tonight. Smoldering, moving, active flames, helicopter working in the dark. You never see that here in Utah. They call it pumpkin time. The crews go to bed. At least they go down when the sun goes down. Not here in California. There is optimism as crews finally start to make progress in slowing down the spread of both fires. Ashley Sharp has the latest tonight from Pacific Palisades.
Fire crews in Los Angeles are starting to get the upper hand battling the two largest fires.
We can report that the Palisades fire is now 8% contained.
The Eaton fire is estimated to be 13,956 acres with 3% containment.
But the danger is far from over. The Palisades fire is still threatening homes in Topanga Canyon. Residents are anxious to get back into their neighborhoods.
It's just devastating. We need more help here on the ground.
600 members of the California National Guard are now assisting firefighters and law enforcement. People are trickling in and out of the Family Resource Center here in Pacific Palisades, set up as a central hub for people to report missing family members or get any other help that they need. People from the community are chipping in to help those displaced.
And I just think it's so important to help out if you can. So, yeah.
The Young and the Restless soap star Eric Braden was among those who lost his home in the Palisades fire. He shot this video as the flames moved in.
What did I feel when I saw those flames? Well, it scares the living daylights out of you, and you hope that the flames don't cross.
It's absolutely devastating. I'm heartbroken.
Augie Silk also lost the home where he's lived his whole life.
Objects are replaceable. We just got to reflect. I think it's important in this time to honestly just take a moment and just be for a minute and just be still.
The winds have died down for now. Another round of dangerous Santa Ana winds forecasted for next week. And there's no rain in the forecast for at least the next 7 days. Ashley Sharp, CBS News, Pacific Palisades, California.
We have a decent winter storm moving into northern Utah overnight and into tomorrow morning, and it will be significant in the mountains of northern and portions of central Utah. And this is where we have winter weather advisories. They start at 11 o'clock this evening, go until 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. Looks like the bulk of the snow, though, will fall during the morning. And yes, we'll still see a little bit of valley snow as well. Right now, the computer models are locked in. This is what we like to see when we're forecasting snow for Salt Lake City, showing about 2.5 inches. And I think most of the Wasatch Front could see 1 to 3 with maybe some higher totals if the Great Salt Lake kicks in, and there's a chance. More on that in just a moment. It will also usher in some pretty chilly weather. We've been right around 40 degrees for today. We'll drop into the mid-30s tomorrow, and then on Sunday, only a high of 33 degrees. Now, yes, snow is likely for your Saturday during the morning, but there could be a few flurries on Sunday. There's another little storm that's going to zip on by, but mainly stay away from Utah, but just enough to produce these light snow showers. We're watching the cold front. It'll be rolling through northern Utah tonight. Snow showers developing by about 10 o'clock, especially north of Salt Lake City and in the mountains. But things get going as that cold front arrives. We'll see our winds change out of the northwest, and that northwest flow will likely favor the Cottonwood Canyons, where it'll get very heavy, and portions of the Salt Lake Valley. Overnight, snow showers likely, but by the late morning hours, mainly southeast of the Great Salt Lake, still mountain snow is likely all the way through central and portions of southern Utah. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of moisture down in St. George. It'll be a little breezy, but no rain in your forecast. By tomorrow afternoon and evening, a couple lingering snow showers in the mountains, but if you're planning on traveling along I-15, you should be fine. Again, maybe you want to avoid the snow during the morning because there will be some travel issues. Now, by Sunday, most of the state will be quiet, but there will be some light snow showers on and off in the mountains. And again, a chance for a couple flurries as this storm stays away from Utah and it's out of here by Monday. So how much snow can you expect? Some of us will be shoveling. I think most of our valleys of northern Utah will see 1 to 3 inches. There's a chance, though, some of our benches, especially in Salt Lake County and towards Tooele, could see 2 to 5 inches of snow. Mountain valleys like Park City, 2 to 5. Higher totals towards Park City, lower totals towards Heber because of the elevation. Our mountains and those ski resorts of northern Utah, 6 to 12. But up the Cottonwood Canyons, wouldn't be surprised if maybe Alta gets up to 15 or 16 inches of snow. Mountains of central Utah, 4 to 10. And the valleys of central Utah and southwestern Wyoming, a dusting to 1 inch or 2. St. George, 50 degrees for tomorrow, drops to 48 on Sunday. So yes, you have that cooler weather moving in, but no rain. 46 on Monday, 48 on Tuesday, but we're back into the mid-50s by the end of next week. Salt Lake, temperatures staying in the 30s for the next several days, but it gets even colder on Monday, 32 for a high. And look at those overnight lows Monday night and Tuesday night into the teens. Valley inversions will develop, more haze Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, with our next storm arriving sometime next weekend.
The Super Bowl of Caring is brought to you by Smith's, Mountain Home Services, Rocky Mountain Power, Check City, American First Credit Union, and Ford. The Super Bowl of Caring is brought to you by Smith's, Mountain Home Services, Rocky Mountain Power, Check City, American First Credit Union, and Ford.
You can help end child hunger in Utah with our Super Bowl of Caring. For more information on how to donate, grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen, or go to KUTV.com/donate. For many kids, there is only one meal that is a free school breakfast or lunch. Just $10 can help feed a child for a weekend. Looking ahead to the weekend, the Utah Jazz are back on the court with back-to-back games tomorrow afternoon. The Jazz are in Phoenix to take on the Suns. Tip-off set for 3 o'clock on Saturday. That's a nice time there to kick back and watch on the tube here. The Jazz are looking to bounce back after back-to-back losses at home this week. Then on Sunday, the Jazz are back at the Delta Center to take on the Brooklyn Nets. Might have to catch this one. Bring the kiddos. 6 o'clock start time, just before bedtime. You can watch both games this weekend on your home for the Jazz. KJazz Channel 14. Also in action tonight, the Utah Hockey Club downtown here in Salt Lake City. If you missed any portion of the show, head to our YouTube page. You can watch it all back. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll run it back on Monday at 7.